is in Michigan. I was there just this past weekend, and I was really struck by just how different these two candidates are. I spent some time at Biden's drive-in rally there in Detroit, talking to his supporters who were so concerned about the loss of life from the coronavirus. But almost everyone that I talked to there said this election is about President Trump. They felt like this election was about getting President Trump out of office. It is something that I heard a lot from voters during the Democratic primary. They saw Joe Biden as the most electable candidate, and they're hoping that he goes to the White House, Diane.
You know, it seemed like in that statement that he made around 4 o'clock or so Eastern time, that Biden seemed to pick his words very carefully, as if he was kind of threading the needle. He said he's not declaring victory, but then said when the votes are counted, we think they will show that we won. And then he also went on to say that he is leading in the popular vote, and that if this election continues to expand the way they expect it to, that they're on track to win more votes than any ticket in history. So it seems like on the one hand he's saying, you know, we're not counting our chickens yet, but on the other hand, we're feeling really good right now and like we made history tonight.
Exactly, and I think what they're trying to do is balance their message with the President of the United States, who is coming out and falsely declaring early victory, saying that he has already won this election when it has not been projected yet, when all of the votes are still being counted across the country. And so they have put out a message that they want every single vote counted. And so it's clear that they are feeling good, they are optimistic, but listen, this is not over just yet. We still have to hear from several states that are waiting to come in that could be game changers. But what we do know right now is that the path for President Trump back to the White House is much harder than it is for Joe Biden at this point. But again, if we have learned anything from 2020, it is to expect the unexpected. So we will all be waiting to see what happens, Diane.
That is for sure. But, you know, those legal challenges from the president at this point are not unexpected. Some of them have already started. He's promised, even overnight, he promised to take this all the way to the Supreme Court. So what is Team Biden doing to prepare for that? We heard Joe Biden say earlier, every vote must be counted. No one is going to take our democracy. But what specifically do you know what the campaign's doing in order to prepare for what might be a huge legal fight?
Yeah, well, you know, I think in a lot of ways the Biden campaign was bracing for something like this. There was reporting out just days ahead of the election that President Trump may declare an early victory. The president came out himself and said that he wasn't going to do that. We know that the Biden campaign has their legal advisors on hand here, but they also believe that the results are going to stand for themselves. And that's why they're driving home this message of making sure that every single vote is counted, because they believe that once all the results are in, once every vote is counted, if Joe Biden is ahead, that sends a very clear message to the American people that's going to be pretty hard for the president to compete with, regardless of whether or not he agrees with the results or whether or not he wants to win the election. The fact of the matter is the American people had this say at the end of the day here, and we're going to know pretty soon, hopefully, who the next president of the United States is going to be.
All right, Rachel Scott, our White House correspondent, who has been working tirelessly. Rachel, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I know you must be exhausted.